Well, hello everybody. It's Marian.
Hi, it's Regina.
And we are
Two sisters knitting, talking shit. Plenty of shit to talk today.
Yes, absolutely. And this is episode 8.
Episode 8. Ocho.
Of our knitting podcast, Two Sisters Knittin Talkin Shit.
Two sisters knitting talking shit. We've been at it 8 times.
8 times.
This is good.
Yes. And we're delighted to have you with us, so welcome. So, we've got a fun agenda. Both of us are over here sweating and hot and trying to calm ourselves down.
You saw the fan, so you will be seeing this probably a few more times.
Yes, because spring has sprung.
Well, I feel like we're always
way.
having a bit of a spring.
Yes,
because of the demographic that we are
part
of.
Yes,
but it's hot outside.
Yeah, but the time of the year, based on the time of the year, it's also hot outside.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we're excited to have you here, and we've got an exciting episode today.
I think so.
Yeah,
let's get on with it.
So we'll run down what we're going to be talking about today. You know, as always, we've got the cocktail of the episode. We're going to talk about what's on and off of our needles. We've got another fabulous yarn haul to share.
This might be the last one because I'm not buying no more yarn.
I'm not buying any more yarn either. So we'll share our most recent yarn haul for a while. Hopefully this will be it for a while. And then we're going to talk about Regina's obsession.
Yeah.
She's got a fun obsession to share with you.
So yeah, looking forward to all of that.
All of that. The mental health benefits.
Yes.
Of knitting and crocheting and making. And there really are quantifiable, research-based benefits.
It's a thing.
Mental health benefits.
Yeah.
And then we'll look briefly at some of what the KnitShits said after our last episode.
Because y'all did have a lot to say.
Absolutely.
So, which we love. We want you
engaged. And then we've got another closing question for you for the episode. And then that'll be a wrap.
All right.
Yeah.
I love it.
So episode 8. Here
love
we go.
that.
So Regina, tell the people, the KnitShits, what's in our glasses.
Yes, ma'am.
Today.
Yes, ma'am. Something very simple, something very kind of, well, not girly, but it's just very simple. And it's also very similar to something we've already had, but this is just a classic Kahlua and Cream.
Cheers.
Cheers. Nothing like a good Kahlua and Cream. We used, is it Califia? Almond creamer. Almond milk creamer.
Vanilla flavored.
Which I love. I use it in my oatmeal. I use it in my drinks that require milk or cream. I love it. So,
yeah. And it's delicious. So let's cheers one more time.
Cheers.
Episode 8.
Ocho. All right. So we're going to talk about our WIPs. You go.
I'm expecting her to go, and I'm like, okay, let me see.
No, they've already seen mine. Mine are like repeats, so you go.
So I do have several WIPs, but I only have one WIP to share with you all today. And this is something that I'm making for myself. Most of the things that I make, I give away, either to my mom or to family members, and I don't wear them for myself. But this is a hat. The pattern is called the Simply Hemmed Hat. It's a Pearl Soho pattern. And this is made out of Simply Yak yarn in the color Natural Taupe. So this will be a hat for me.
It's luscious.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I was debating if I should take it out, but I've decided I'm not going to, because I think once I block it, it'll work out. But I was a little bit off when I was catching the hem. And so it's kind of gathering a little bit in a little places around the hat, but I think it's gonna work out fine. And my brother told me, he said, Peaches, you all don't ever knit
On the show.
On the show.
And that's okay.
And I said, I don't know if I can concentrate on doing the episode and knitting at the same time. So I'm going to try to knit a little bit to show him that I do knit.
Well, I kind of think that's our shtick.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about knitting.
Right.
But we talk more shit. And we drink.
And we drink. And that's our shit.
That's our shit. That's our shtick. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm excited for this hat to be mine.
I was just thinking, as a knitter of lesser experience, I've not been knitting for 40 years, obviously. Maybe more like a year and a half. Because I was wondering how because I noticed the thickness of this part, and you had even told me that it was double.
Yeah, so
The rim was
knit,
double.
so it's 5 inches worth of stockinette stitch, and then you fold it over, and then you knit it together.
Oh, see, I've not done that. So that'll be something for me to try.
Yeah. And so that makes it nice and warm on top of the ears.
Now, what size needles are these?
These are size 5 needles. So you start it with 5s, knit part of the brim with size 4, US size 4 needles. And then when you start to work the upper part of the brim, you switch to size 5 and knit the rest of the hat in size 5 needles.
I love that color. That taupe is
everything. It is pretty. It's a neutral, so it'll go with everything. So
Love
I like it.
Love
And that's simple. That's a simple knit. In addition to all of my other whips that you all have seen on previous episodes that are unfinished.
Well, and that's why, like, you already saw this last episode, but that's okay because I've gotten much farther along. And I, in fact, thought I was going to be finished. And instead of this being a whip, this would be a FO. But it's still a whip, not an FO. But it will be at some point. But don't you love my stitch stoppers? They're Lego
cute.
blocks.
They're Lego blocks. Those are cute.
Did I have these last episode?
I can't remember.
I can't either. So anyway, you've seen this, and
Where
so
did
you're
you
seeing
get
it
them
again.
for the KnitShits? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I think I might have gotten them at the Craftivist, but I actually don't remember.
Okay.
So anyway, so Lego blocks. And then you've seen this too. I think maybe the first episode. I was
And I don't even
working
remember.
on the Stardust wrap from, now I can't even remember, Wool & Co. I got the pattern off of Wool & Co. And
But I think it's a Blue Sky Fibers
it
pattern.
is. It's a Blue Sky. Yes, there you go. It's a Blue Sky Fibers pattern. This is a prairie yarn. I don't remember the color, so we'll make sure it gets in the show notes. And again, I've talked about this before because I was working on this in the first episode and I ended up starting all over. Remember, I had an issue either with the edge or dropped a stitch and couldn't, it was a mess. So I started over. And this is as far as I've gotten. So, but it will be finished. You know, I like my wraps, so it will be finished.
It will be finished.
Yes.
Okay.
And I look forward to wearing it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, any finished objects to share?
Well, you know, the one I'm so proud of that I'm showing again. This is, and a lot of you have commented on my open air
And several
wrap.
people are even making it.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, this is a pattern that, are these number 5 needles? I think they are number 5 needles. And what I have decided, since I have so much of this linen quill yarn in an assortment of colors, the last yarn haul I had, in fact, I got another color to show when we do our yarn haul. So I'm going to always have an open air wrap on my number 5 needles. I will always have one.
Okay.
So that's the commitment I'm making to myself.
All right,
Yes.
Regina.
So I love it. It's a lovely wrap. It's flirty.
Diaphanous.
It's girly. It's diaphanous. It's feminine. And we love it. So there you go.
All those good things. Well, I do have one finished object. My brother, I had shared in the past 2 episodes that he had wanted me to knit a purple hat for him. And so that is complete.
For the Omega
is
Man.
The Omega Man's
Yes.
hat. This is the Oslo hat. The pattern designer is Petite Knit. And this is another double brim too. But it's got a little bit, because then you reverse.
This little thing. The pearl.
So you do a short row and you start going in the opposite direction of knitting. So it looks like pearls, but it is knitting. But I'm just going in the opposite direction.
And did you tell me you were holding this double? Or
I did not hold this one double. The other ones that I've done, because this is about my 10th Oslo hat that I've done, and those I held double.
Such a bragger.
Because those were done with fingering weight yarn.
Oh.
And this is light worsted DK.
It's
light
beautiful.
DK.
It's luscious. And my father, by the way, was a Q. He passed away in 2016, but I would love to have made a hat like this.
Yeah, you know, my dad was a Q too.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Look at all these Qs.
So
My
all
brother's
these
a Q.
Qs.
I haven't said your brother's a Q. You talk about your brother because you're making a hat. I have a brother. He's an Omega. I ain't making him no hat. But you know, there's that part.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get a scarf or something. But yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
he'll like it. And I don't think I mentioned the yarn that this was made out of, but this is made out of more Pearl Soho yarn. This is the cashmere merino bloom yarn.
Mentioning Pearl Soho gives us the giggles.
I know. It's an inside joke. We're not going to share what the joke is. But anyway. This is their cashmere
Hashtag
merino.
sponsorship.
But this is their cashmere merino bloom yarn in the color Deep Pansy. And let me just try it on so the folks can see.
Go ahead.
Because it's a great hat and it's wonderful for the ears and it's really, when you knit it double, it's really like having 8 layers.
So,
but you can fold it down.
Oh, I love that.
You know, and have it more like a skull cap or a fisherman's type watch cap. So
you did a cap.
I think he'll like it.
Was it this one? No, I think that was another cap you did when you had the pink and green one.
Oh, it was the same.
It was this. Okay,
the same.
So
pattern.
you've got a stockpile.
I've got a stockpile.
Oh, well, we need to be selling them. we need to sell them, which we had talked about.
Thought about it one time, going to local farmers markets.
Oh, we get ready to do that. We still gonna do that.
And selling our wares.
Hats, scarves. Yes. Come get your hat and your scarf. Yes.
So that is it in terms of finished objects for me.
You know what? I'm sorry. I need to go back. I don't think I ever shared that this is a simplicity scarf, Pearl Soho simplicity scarf.
Okay.
And this is another. Yeah. Another work in progress, and it's been in progress for a long time. But this is quartz yarn, and it's, what is this color? I think it's called fig, maybe natural fig or something like this. But this is as far as I've gotten. In fact, I moved on to something else and got some stitch stoppers.
Those are the stitch stoppers from the
Chabu set.
From the set.
But I'm just saying, you take the needles off and put these thingies on.
Stitch stoppers.
That's what they're called? Stitch stoppers? Oh, so the other thing is called needle stoppers.
I don't know. Anyway,
you know the difference.
Prevent the yarn
from falling off
the needles.
And there are no needles on this. This is just the little thingamabob that goes when I took
on the cord.
Yes, I took the needles off so I could work on something else, and probably bought another set.
Because this is a pretty color.
Isn't it beautiful?
And I will say, I'm the type of person who I fixate on things.
Yes.
So food, my coworkers used to tease me because I would go to the same restaurant, get the same thing every day for lunch. If it's something that I really like, so I'm thinking about Pearl Soho, but if it's something that I like and it works for me, I'm going to continue to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. That's why you see all these open airs. I love it. It works for me. You'll see it every episode.
Yeah. So.
And you know what? We're 60 and we can do that.
Right. And who cares?
Who cares? Yeah. Okay. So that's our yarn. Yeah. Our works in progress and finished objects. Okay, we have quite the yarn haul, which we normally do, but let me tell you something. I'm done buying yarn. I ain't buying no more yarn. So
Today or this week, we'll say that.
Well, you're right, because I do have a package of yarn that just arrived. In fact, when I got here to you a little earlier today, I got a notification that it had been delivered. So, but that's it. That's it. I'm not buying no more yarn. And you know what else I'm not doing?
What?
I ain't knitting socks. Y'all trying to get me to knit socks. And I have a comment that I want to highlight about that. But no, I'm not knitting socks.
Yeah, Regina ain't knitting no socks.
You can stop saying it, or you can keep saying it if you want to, and the response will be the same. Regina ain't knitting socks.
And I did notice in one of the comments that you replied to, you said maybe I would knit some socks for her.
And then I was going to bring that up in the KnitShits, but we can talk about we can talk about it now, because she says, well, Peaches must love you. If
I ain't knitting no socks for Regina. I can barely knit socks for myself.
And that's pretty much what I said. It's likely she will not be knitting socks for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just threw that out there.
But no,
I'm not going to be knitting them.
Regina ain't knitting no socks.
And you ain't knitting
them
for me.
And I ain't knitting no socks for her.
But if one of you all wants to knit some socks for me, have at it.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yes,
That'd be
yes.
great. All right, so this is our yarn haul.
Our yarn haul, and we've got some goodies.
Yes, we do. So what I'm holding isn't it beautiful? This is from Yarn and Notions, a local yarn shop. Channy P, hey girl.
Hey,
Channy. So this is yarn that she dyed.
It's gorgeous.
Isn't it beautiful? And it's a fingering weight. It's 100% merino. And this color is called Jewel Me. And when I bought it, she was having an event at her store, and they were all saying, oh, those are perfect for socks. I was like, no. I'll figure out something to make with these, but I love the color. I love the gradient nature of the color. It's just beautiful. So
it is.
I look forward to getting this on some needles. So Channy P, we love you, girl.
Channy.
And then...
Go ahead.
I got some packages to open.
What else you got?
So, okay.
Show us.
So, I bet you can't guess where all this yarn is from. I bet you can't guess.
Our favorite online yarn retailer.
So some of this is exactly what you have on the table, because we're going to be knitting the what's it called?
Pearl Soho Classic Knit Beret.
That's it.
Yeah, that was an obsession that we talked about
last episode
in episode 7.
Yes, and I also mentioned buying 5 bundles. So that's what you're seeing today. This is look at that.
That's gorgeous.
Look at that. So this bundle is, what is this called? It's called Purple Urchin. This yarn, it's held double. So this is one of the yarns. It's the spindle, and it's 80% merino wool, 10% cashmere, and 10% mulberry silk. And you hold it double with the tussock, which is a 60% superfine kid mohair and 40% silk. So this color is amethyst purple. You hold these two together and you get a lovely, lovely combination for this beret. And they ran out of this color. They sold out of this color. And I was like, notify me when you get it again. And like 2 days later, I got a notification. I was like, yeah, let me buy that. So that's the Purple Urchin. Throw that away.
Well, can I share? Because we've got similar things. So I also have, I'm making a classic knit beret for my aunt. And so she said that her favorite colors are purple and like an electric blue. So this was not a bundle.
Right, but it's the same
But
purple.
It's the same purple. So again, the spindle Purple Urchin yarn. And then the tussock for me is in the color Lapis Lazuli. So I thought those two together would knit up nicely.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful because this has little flecks of blue in it. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, all of these are going to be beautiful.
This is for my Aunt Dorcas. I see you.
So you get ready to get a really nice beret. You're doing the beret.
Yes, the beret with that.
So awesome. You want me to open these?
Yeah, you can go ahead. And I'll just say because we got the same and a lot of them, and I'll just say, yep, that's what I got too, and I'll just hold it up.
Yeah, so that's the one. And you took a picture and posted it on our Instagram page, and I was like, is that what that mohair looks like? And that's what it looks like.
What it looks
so
like.
This is what I have. That's the spindle. Again, I've already told you the composition of the yarn, but this color is House Wren.
Yes.
And it's combined with tussock in golden lichen, L-I-C-H-E-N?
Yeah.
Lichen.
Anyway, it'll be in the show notes.
It'll be in the show notes. So beautiful bundle there. Beautiful. And so that bundle, and we got another one.
Oh, and here's the classic beret. Yeah, so people can see it, which I also will put in the show notes.
There it is.
And that should be pretty clear for folks.
So this color, this is the beautiful pink. This is the color is Fuchsia Rose, and you hold it double with the Alpine Phlox. Beautiful bundle. These are all just really beautiful bundles. Gorgeous. I can't wait to start on these.
So I'm just doing 3 classic berets. You said you were doing 5.
You know what? Now I'm like, where's I have one more. I thought I bought a 5th one. Maybe I left it. It's okay. Because there were plenty of bundles. Right. So this is like the yellow-orange bundle that I thought was gorgeous. So this is the the spindle, and the color is Golden Meadow. And Golden Meadow is also the color of the hedgerow. Yes, in the hedgerow yarn, same color. Way beautiful flecks of orange and
we talked about that wrap too in the last episode.
We did. I showed it because as a work in progress.
Yes.
And then this will be held double with the alizarin orange. I think I pronounced that correctly. Speaking of mispronouncing yarn colors, there was a comment, which I'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
So I hope I got that right, but there's a KnitShit who will get me together and correct me if I said that wrong. So anyway, these are the bundles. They're beautiful. I think I'm missing a bundle because I did buy 5. I just don't remember this is
something else.
This is this is something else. This is what is this? Well, I'll open it and see. This is another linen quill. And this is lemon lime, I think.
Okay.
For another, you know what it is. Open air. So this is like that bright yellow color. Yes.
The anticipation. I feel like I need to be doing a drum roll. That's gorgeous.
So I think it's actually called lemon lime.
It's glow in the dark.
Lemon lime. Yeah, it's pretty neon. So that's linen quill lemon lime. So that's my yarn haul. That's a lot of yarn.
That's a lot of yarn.
That's a lot of yarn.
Well, I only have one more that I got as a yarn haul, which is my last yarn haul for quite some time. I showed you all the hat that I was knitting for myself, the Simply Hemmed hat out of the Simply Yak yarn by Pearl Soho. And my nephew, one of my nephews, asked me to knit a hat for him. And so I got more Simply Yak yarn. That's a tongue twister for me. For him, to knit him that same hat that you all saw as a work in progress for me. And it comes, the Simply Yak yarn only comes in 2 colors.
Yeah.
And they're undyed yarn colors. So the other one, this color here is called Natural Brown. So as soon as I finish my hat, which hopefully I'll finish by tomorrow, I'll start knitting a hat for him, that same one. So that's for him.
Love that.
And that is it.
You got a sample or something?
Oh, and then a sample.
That's linen quill.
This is linen quill. This is also from Pearl Soho. They sent this sample yarn to me, a mini. And this is linen quill. I think we just mentioned that. In the color turmeric
love that.
yellow.
That's popular color.
In that,
Kind of like,
it's similar to this right here.
what do we call it? Golden Meadow. It is
Golden
similar to
Meadow.
that. This is a little golder, a little deeper, but yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Let's drink to our yarn haul.
Yarn haul.
Cheers.
Cheers to lighter purses,
I was just thinking.
wallets.
I was just thinking we're not drinking enough. Wallets, purses, mailboxes. Nice. All
That's
right.
delicious. So that's our yarn haul today.
Quite a haul.
Quite a haul.
Okay, we're talking about obsessions.
Next up. And I'm turning it over to Cream.
Well, Cream has an obsession. I
Tell me
have
it
lots
shits.
of obsessions, and I've shared many of them with you. We talked about The Godfather, I think, last episode. Before that, I talked about Just Be Cooking, and she is still cooking, and she is still, she went shopping last night.
I
So I was
saw a
watching her
little short.
shopping video. It was amazing. And now I'm like, do I need to buy a 5-pound bag of chicken thighs?
No.
No. But I was like, I have to do everything she does. So do I need to buy all these snacks and all this yogurt? And do I need to go out and buy this stuff? No, I do not.
No.
But still enjoying Just Be Cooking. And so the obsession I'm going to talk about has been an obsession for some time, but it's really timely given the fact that the two astronauts, Sonny Williams and Butch, I can't think of his last name, it begins with a W though, who were on the International Space Station for like 9 months, just returned to Earth a couple of nights ago. And I have been obsessed with the International Space Station for about 6 or 7 months. I saw
She even has the app on her phone so she can track where it is.
Yes.
And she has called me. I am driving around Atlanta because it's supposed to fly over at such and such a time. And so I'm trying to find a clear spot.
Go ahead. I think we all should be interested in this International Space Station, and I approach it with such excitement and such joy, and most of my friends and colleagues look at me like I am out of my mind. But I love it, and I love the engineering of it. You know, I mentioned my father earlier in this episode. He was a space geek. When we lived in Vine City in 1969, he ran over to Sears to buy our first television. We didn't even have a phone. And he bought our first television so we could actually watch the moon landing.
Oh, what a wonderful memory.
Oh, it's a lovely memory. And I never really got into space, but we had books on astronomy. And now it's something that, now that I'm obsessed with the International Space Station, it's something I really wish I could discuss with him. But oh my God.
So do you think that if they offered you an opportunity to go into space, would you do that? And go up in a shuttle? Go up to see it? Do you think you would if you had an opportunity?
You know, I don't know. I kind of like watching it from Earth. But I don't know. That's a really good question. And it's a question that comes up, not necessarily directed at me, but so the whole reason I got so obsessed with the ISS is CNN did a documentary on the Columbia space shuttle that exploded upon re-entry back in January of 2003. And I watched that documentary. It's a 4-part documentary. I've watched it like 7 times. And part of what they explore in this documentary is how space travel has improved so considerably since that accident. And of course, accidents like that always become a situation where engineers can go and figure out what happened, and they can take the shuttle. And the shuttle program has been retired, but my father was a shuttle geek too. He loved the notion of a rocket soaring on another rocket that would separate and then orbit the Earth. He just loved that. So anyway, so this documentary, I watched it, and that sent me down a rabbit hole. And that rabbit hole led me to this obsession with the International Space Station and the app, and the fact that it's traveling like 17,000 miles an hour, and it orbits the Earth like once every 90 minutes, which is like, what? Are you kidding me? The fact that and the fact that I know I'm getting geeked up.
That's okay.
And the fact that this thing was built not on Earth, it was built in space. So they sent the components up, and it's been continuously manned. It's been habited or inhabited, I guess you could say, for 25 years. This coming November, there has always been a human being on the International Space Station over the last 25 years. So it's a really fascinating, it's considered the most significant feat of engineering in humankind, in human history. So it's really interesting, and I have never had an interest in space or science, and this thing has completely captivated me and captured me. So that, I'm tired talking about it. That's one of my obsessions right now.
Yes.
And I think when I go home, I'm gonna watch that CNN documentary again because it's just so good. Yeah.
Because the other thing I know that she tells me a lot about is when shuttles go up to replenish food supplies and equipment and other things for the folks that are up there.
Yes. Those are critical missions that, and I would say this too. The other really fascinating thing is there's nothing in space that enables human life to survive. There's no oxygen, there's no water. Those are the things we need. And so this International Space Station solved the problem of the things that are needed for humans to live. And so that's a really fascinating thing to me. And so I could keep talking about it. I could go on and on and on and on, but I won't. Okay. I will spare you, because I'll probably call you tonight and tell you that it's flying over Atlanta at 9:18, and I'm gonna take a picture of it. So
this is where I can see
right.
that.
So that is my obsession.
So next topic that we wanted to talk about is the benefits, the mental health benefits of knitting and crocheting and other types of craft making too, with people. And we had mentioned in the last episode that my aunt is a social worker, and she said, even though you all are not counselors, you all are creating a space where people are sharing, and it is like therapy. So we thought that we would mention some certified, bona fide,
for reals,
resources and studies about the mental health benefits of knitting and crocheting and crafting.
Yeah.
So you had found a book.
Yeah, my good friend Dawn Jackman, who is a knitter and makes her own yarn, and she's amazing in this creative space. She mentioned to me many years, maybe not many years ago, because I think this book was written maybe in 2018. Well, that's many years. But anyway, she mentioned a book to me. It's called Craft Psychology: How Crafting Promotes Health. And it's by Dr. Ann Kirketerp. And I have not read this book, but it's in my cart. I definitely want to read it. And I think in one of our earlier episodes, we even kind of teased the idea of how crafting and making supports mental health. And one of the KnitShits asked us about some resources, and I remember responding. At the time, I couldn't remember the name and couldn't pull up the name of the book, but I've since looked it up and went back and looked at my messages exchanged between me and Dawn, and she really, really highly recommends the research of this psychologist, Dr. Kirkiter.
And in preparation for today's episode, I also looked up some things. That's one thing that I do. If you tell me something, I get on the internet and I start looking things up. So I did find a couple of, well, there are more than a couple of resources, but I'll mention a couple of additional resources in addition to the book that Regina just mentioned. But there was a study in 2021, I believe it was, out of the University of Gothenburg that describes knitting as a way of bringing a sense of calm and giving life structure to folks who knit. And it talked about 3 ways that knitting helps to do that. The first way is that it helps people unwind. And I know for me, when I'm feeling amped up and I start knitting, the repetitiveness of the stitches is really kind of meditative. So it does help me to kind of calm down and relax when I'm feeling myself getting ramped up.
I've talked about that on when I fly, and I fly a lot for my job, and the older I get, the more anxious, and especially now with so much happening in aviation, I get really really activated, and knitting has helped me. I always have a knitting project. Can I also say, before you continue, that I think the crux of what Dr. Kirkiter is saying too is how helpful it is to have multiple projects.
Yes.
So I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say that.
Yeah, so it's not a bad thing to have whips, mini whips on needles. And in project
we're doing
bags.
the right thing.
Well, out of this study, out of the University of Gothenburg, the second way that knitting helps to improve health is the social benefits of knitting and being in community with others in a way that's easy. So it's not like there's a huge barrier to entry or a huge way that you have to kind of announce yourself or whatever, show up. So you can be part of knitting groups in person, online, and a great way to meet people. So that was the second social benefit, the second benefit of knitting. And then lastly is that it provides structure to people's lives. And then I found another study that was part of the National Institute of Health, and in the part of their website that this study was found. And I'll link all of these resources, the book and these 2 studies, in the show notes as well. So just go down on our YouTube channel and see in the description box. But in the National Library of Medicine, there was a study about an international study exploring the effects of crocheting and well-being, because I know we've got a lot of crocheters that follow us too. And so it talked about it being an economical and accessible way to increase relaxation and reduce stress. And this study surveyed over 8,000 participants all over the world.
Wow.
8,000 knitters all over the world. And the survey respondents reported that crochet helped to make them feel calmer. It helped them to be happier and to feel more useful. And it also helped them to manage, or it helped to support them better for life events such as grief, chronic illness, and pain. So there are some real certified benefits of this crafting that we just wanted to share with you all.
Yeah. And I think based on some of the comments over all of our episodes, we are the evidence, right? The comments from some of our KnitShits that knitting got me over the grief of losing my husband or my child, or, you know, I've talked about it with flying. You talked about it when you talked about coming back to it when we lost Faith.
Yes.
Faith was a friend of ours who passed away in 2017. Yeah.
Hard to believe it's been that
It
long
is
ago.
stunning to believe that, but it was pretty close to when my father passed, and I always associate those two. But so in our own lives, we are the evidence that that all of these things are true.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it.
So before we wrap up, we thought we'd share what the KnitShits are saying.
What y'all are saying
in the comments. So you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I don't mind. I'll go first.
You go.
Yeah. So I have a few. Nisei says, "Oh my God, I love y'all so much. I'm starting to knit more and I'm enjoying our content," is what she's saying. "I am 60 and didn't think I would find a channel that is everything needed. My current obsession is your channel."
Oh, Nisei.
Oh, Nisei, that was so
Thank you.
sweet.
Welcome. We're happy to have you.
I hope I didn't, I may have grabbed some of the ones
That's
you
okay.
grabbed, but so losing Jeff. We love you, Jeff. Jeff
Hey,
from
Jeff.
Losing My Knit. Hey, Jeff. Hey. He says, exactly what I needed on this post-vacation rainy Monday as I drink my coffee. Glad I saved it. Regina, that golden medal is to die for. And I'm with you on the socks.
Yes.
I've done them and meh. Give me a hat or a shawl, scarf any day. And Marian, our pup, got hold of one hank of yarn when he was little, and it took me 20-ish hours to untangle.
We gotta love our fur babies.
We love our fur babies. Another one about me and socks. So this keeps coming up. Robin says, Regina socks are very portable and great for plain knitting. And she says she follows Denise from Earth Tones Girl on YouTube. I think she might be...
we follow her on our Instagram channel, and she makes beautiful socks.
Well,
gorgeous colors.
I think her pattern might have been included in the thread and maple pattern binder that they came out with when you ordered it. Back when they first got introduced, and they're sold out. And they even you could pre-order, and the pre-orders sold out. But the initial orders came with 5 patterns, and I'm almost sure Denise from Earth Tones Girl had patterns in there. We can look that up, but I don't think I had that wrong.
Okay.
So we thought that was cute. Gwen, our beloved Gwen.
Hey, Gwen.
Hey, Gwen. She says the best way for me to stay motivated is multiple WIPs. That's just what we were talking about. She says she also has several crafts that she does, and she peddles her wares. So we getting ready to start doing that.
Yes.
And she says, I should be out of ideas, but I just about release a crochet. She's just about to release a crochet.
Well, it's been
pattern.
released, and it's
Has
beautiful.
it?
I shared it on our stories.
Good.
It's gorgeous.
Awesome. And I just want to thank Natalie. I mentioned this earlier when I thought I may have mispronounced one of the colors.
Yes.
So Natalie.
Oh, it was the Labian Ami.
Yes, that's what she was. She says, I was like, is the color anemone or what is it? She says, anemone. That's the color. And so thank you, Natalie, for getting me together. I cannot be out in these streets mispronouncing yarn colors, like one that I may have mispronounced earlier. So if you know that one, Natalie, I'm counting on you to correct me. I've got one more. Tammy says knitting has helped heal the loving relationship with my daughter.
Oh, I love that.
We used to have a hard time with communication. Knitting and making has given us a common language that has closed that gap. I thought that was so powerful. Actually, I have one more. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then I'm done.
And then you're done.
As always, great episode. This is from Maryland. You changed the camera angle, and I love it. I can see see you and your project so much better. And she says she has bad eyesight. So we hear you,
Yes.
Marilyn. She says also that she loves that open air wrap.
Yes.
So much that yesterday, this was probably a few days ago, she pulled the pattern and is also thinking about the color yarn she wants to use.
You
so
should
we
do
are
it.
on this open air, honey.
Yes, and let us know.
Those are the KnitShit comments that spoke to me. There were many others that spoke to me, and we try to get to them. We try to get to each and every one of them.
Yeah, we try to answer you all in the comments section, but some that really are kind of tugged at our heartstrings and whatnot, we like to call out.
Yeah.
And I just had a couple, and first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you for your wonderful comments about my mom, who appeared in episode 7, and she was flattered and I think a little bit overwhelmed, but also overjoyed and excited by all the beautiful comments that you all made. And she wants me to tell you how much she appreciates them and that she was nervous to be on camera, but she enjoyed it.
You couldn't tell it.
And she was fun.
I mean, she looked like a pro, and she's like our manager.
She's our manager.
She's our agent. She tells
our
us
publicist.
She keeps us together, and she is the sweetest. Mother Marian is the sweetest. I just absolutely love her.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get my mom here. We call her Peanut, Miss Peanut. So hopefully Mother Marian and Miss Peanut can be cutting up in the background. But it was the giggles off camera that I think had a lot of us, even me.
Yeah, and you can see, I get it honest. The giggles, the cackles, the laughter, because you heard hers in the background.
So cute.
So I just had a few KnitShits. I'm just going to call out like 3 today. One, Maryland 5052 says, yes, or yay, I'm all caught up now. So she just started following us after episode 7 came out. And she says, I have to say this podcast is an inspiration to me. I've subscribed to many podcasts, knitting and otherwise, and can say that none have hooked me like yours. I watch them occasionally, perhaps for a few minutes, but you ladies have a gift that keeps me coming back. And I watched the whole episode. So I thought that was really sweet.
We love you, Marilyn, and that's the one I just
That's
quoted.
the one that you just quoted.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So she was all
double
over.
shout out,
Yep,
Marilyn.
yep,
Thank
double
you.
shout out.
And then M Crafts and Thrives. M Crafts and Thrives says, just want to say that I found y'all while scrolling through Instagram, and a clip of one of your videos popped up. The laughter and joy pulled me right in, and I've been slowly catching up. I save the episodes for when I can sit down and knit with y'all. So welcome, M Crafts and Thrives.
Yes.
We're happy to have you.
Yes, we are.
As a KnitShit. And let's see. I thought this one was really cute. From E. Waterman, 1093. She says, just a note of thanks for helping me feel justified in my stash enhancement addiction.
I remember that comment.
Now to convince my husband it's justified. And so I really like the term stash enhancement addiction.
Because we got it too.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for commenting. We feel the love. We appreciate the engagement. And the sharing that you all have with each other, too, I think is really important and special as well. So we thank you for that.
We love you, KnitShits.
We love you, KnitShits.
Yeah. So before we get to our closing question, there was a comment that I wanted to make about my membership in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. This is 40 years for me. It was February 23rd, and there were 50 of us on my line at Gamma Iota, Hampton University. We haven't lost a single sister in 40 years.
That's a blessing.
We get together generally once a month for a prayer call, and there are quite a few who live in the Atlanta area. Last year, actually summer of 2023, we had a retreat. So we really love on each other a lot. And we're planning a 40th anniversary cruise. And so in the last episode, when I was talking about all the wraps that I'm going to make with my cattail silk yarn, and I was like, I'm going to be on the ship with those. And you asked me, where are you going? And I kind of
poo-pooed it.
Yeah. Not really poo-pooed it, but in my mind, I was thinking, well, I am going, well, because I haven't paid my money. And so, but I wanted to say, in honor of 40 years of sisterhood, Gamma Iota, Tattletales, spring 1985, I love you so very much. And so many of you have supported this podcast and our YouTube channel and our Instagram. And so I just wanted to make sure to honor us, and I think the cruise is to the Bahamas. I haven't kept up with anything. I'm the sister that just shows up. And they might say, I thought you said you weren't coming, or I thought, what? I'm here. So anyway, I love my line sisters. We love each other, and I just wanted to give them a really quick shout out before we end this kind of women's history episode, Women's History Month episode.
Yes. So why don't we take it on home?
Yeah.
With our final question. And I'm looking behind me at the question on our board here. So as we wrap up Women's History Month, what we are asking is for you to share about a woman who's inspired you and why. So a woman who's inspired you, Regina, and why?
Well, there are many.
Yes.
There are many. I can't just narrow it down to one, but I will just talk about my mother and her sisters who came out of the Mississippi Delta and grew up on a plantation. They came out of the cotton fields, and many of them went on to have jobs as domestics. And one in particular worked for the same family for probably close to 60 years.
That sounds like my grandmother.
So that, and then there's migration is part of our story, because 3 of them went to Los Angeles in the 1950s, and they would have their families, in some cases, obviously in all cases, children, and in some cases grandchildren, and in some cases great-grandchildren, who have all been in South Los Angeles, since the 50s. And so just the tenacity and the resilience of these women, including my mom and her twin sister, who were the only 2 of the family to go on to college. The others didn't even finish high school. One did finish high school, but the others didn't even finish high school. But they lived a life of faith, and these were praying women. And, there are not a whole lot of books written about them, and they're not famous, but they certainly have had an impact on my life. And so I just honor Cleotha, Arlington, Verla, Lucille, Frankie, Ruby, and my mother, Ethel.
That's beautiful. We honor you. And I chose as my person that I admire, and there, like you said, so many to be admired. But the person that I chose was Althea Gibson. Tennis. So my father was an avid tennis player. And I think I picked up my first racket when I was in the 1st grade, so around 6 years old. And in the summertime, when all of the kids in the neighborhood were playing softball at Sandtown Park, which is where you and I would have met had I been allowed to play softball. But my dad was like, no, you're going to be on the tennis court with me. And so my brother and I were always playing tennis. And so any day that the sun was out, my father was on the tennis court. And so many a days, my brother and I were playing tennis as well. And one person that I looked up to as a kid, that really helped me in my journey of tennis was Althea Gibson. And she is the first Black person, not just Black woman, but the first Black person to break the color barrier in professional tennis back in the 1950s. She grew up in Harlem, where she learned to play paddle. What did they call it? Paddle tennis. And then from there went on to learn tennis. And the folks in the community saw the great talent that she had, and they helped support her financially. She won many local and regional tennis tournaments, but was not allowed, as I mentioned, to play at the national level. So in 1956, I believe it was, no, in 1950, after much lobbying, she was the first African American to compete in the U.S. National Championships, which is now known as the U.S. Open, that gets lots of attention in the summer. And the first Black tennis player to win a Grand Slam tournament, the French Championships, which is now the French Open. And then the first Black person to win Wimbledon. Excuse me, in 1957. And when she retired from tennis, she'd won 11 Grand Slam titles and was the top-ranked female player in the world. So I played tennis all the way through elementary school, all the way through high school. I didn't play on the team in college, but I did play periodically in college. And then we have a huge league in Atlanta called ALTA, the Atlanta Lawn Tennis Association. So after I graduated from college, I played ALTA for many, many years. And then I had surgery back in when I was 40, and I stopped playing because I was kind of sidelined for about 6 months with that surgery. And I really just haven't picked it back up, which is a shame because it's a sport that you can play really well into your senior years. And so I might have to dust off my rackets, get them restrung, and get back out there because it's great exercise. It's a great way to meet people too. It's a wonderful social sport as well.
All right. Yeah.
So KnitShits, tell us in the comments, who's a woman that you admire, that inspires you, and why?
We really want to know.
Yeah, we do.
You know, before we actually say goodbye, 2 weeks ago, I became a great aunt.
Oh,
my nephew has a son, Kian Dallas, and hopefully we'll see him soon. But my mother will be the only of all of her sisters to actually see a great grandchild. So that's pretty big. And all of those women that I named are her sisters, and they're all gone except for her twin. It's just she and her twin who are still around. And so she's the only one who's welcomed, who's seen a great grandchild.
And his name is Kian.
Kian,
welcome
Dallas.
to the world.
Welcome to the world. Kian can't wait to see you and hold you and meet you.
Yes. And with that, that concludes episode 8.
Episode ocho.
Episode ocho.
Of
Two Sisters Knittin Talkin Shit. Thanks for joining. We hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.